We can't be the guys that's going to be timid and not knowing what's going on. You play hard, you play together. I mean, that's all we ask.
This is what we all have to do.
Be locked in, focus, just be disciplined, all right?
Now I feel like Kyrie, I'ma have to take the shot. If they tryna call me dog, I gotta hit the box. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. I got my black hoodie with a rollie on, eating pasta like Corleone. I don't got time for no fake boy. If you got the money, gon' show me some. I got 2 whips and I'm self-paid. Never got help, bro, I'm self-made. Started from the bottom, but we made it to the top. And I told them time is money, that's why I don't ever stop. Hey, what up, Sig? Whole month in the studio, till I'm locked in. My stock going way up, I got options. Yeah, they fine, but stop playing, you not him. Way the numbers going up.
You got 8 seconds to prove you're worth the price of admission. And you got Baylor Scott and White Health along for the ride. So square up. You got this.
MCC has definitely benefited me most on not only what I want to do, but who I aspire to be. Expect every professor to help you become who you want to be and more. Create your own success at MCC.
RJ's Bargain Center is your home team for appliances at unbeatable prices. From refrigerators to washers, dryers to stoves, you'll find brand new appliances with huge discounts. And just like your favorite local teams, RJ's is proud to support our community and local sports. Score your savings today at RJ's Bargain Center, 711 Lynn Street, Waco. Call 254-224-6178. RJ's Bargain Center, where big savings are always a home run.
Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Thanksgiving Eve for some. Hopefully you guys aren't stuck in too much traffic. Traffic is crazy everywhere right now. I know it's not just here in Waco, but from all over the place. Hey, we want to thank everybody tuning in here with us today. Centex Primetime, getting ready to bring you through the primetime topics and sports here in the local area and from all around the nation. Thanks to everybody tuning in. As I said, everyone making their Thanksgiving plans. We've got a great slate of games lined up for tomorrow. Obviously, your Dallas Cowboys will be playing tomorrow on Thanksgiving as always. A couple other good games playing for tomorrow, Thanksgiving as well. We'll talk about those. We'll talk about the Sheduer story, the new chapter that we got here. We were waiting on it. I had this T-shirt sitting on layaway, as some would say, for a while. My computer's in the way blocking it. And I said, you know what, just wait on it. No reason for me to pull the shirt out too early because Sheduer's going to get his time to shine. And we seen a little bit of perfect timing on Sunday in his win versus the Raiders. So we'll talk about that. Also, we'll talk about the college football playoff rankings just got updated yesterday. We'll talk about those and where that puts a couple of teams, who's in, who's going to be out as we head into the last week of the season. So thanks, everybody, tuning in. Make sure you guys like and share. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we've got plenty to talk about here today on Centex Primetime. Also, we'll touch a little bit of high school football playoffs. Moving into the third round of playoffs in the Texas high school football rankings. Still a couple of Central Texas teams left, so we'll talk about those guys and some other games as well. So as I said, stay tuned. Lock in here, folks, as we got a nice couple hours here planned for you, get you ready for your Thanksgiving meals tomorrow. Joining me here at the table, we've got most famous man in Waco, as I've called him, Mr. Rocky Miller, back in the building with us here today. Rock, another Thanksgiving we're getting ready for, man. Another great slate of games. Obviously, the Sheduer news, we're going to jump straight into that. But what's been going on?
Hey, man, nothing, man. Just another weekend in sports, and it's always good when you have a parlay hit.
Oh, yeah.
I
Makes
had
it a whole lot better.
I had one hit. You know, it was, Sunday was a good day when you can get a Cowboy
win, Cowboys win.
When you can get a Cowboys win. And it's crazy, like, it's crazy how accurate the prognosticators are about those kind of picks, man.
Yeah.
Like I just give mine to you. I took it all in the New England game.
Okay.
New England, Cincinnati. Shout out to them. And I had Flacco for interception, Drake May for over 21 completions. Travion Henderson for over 55 yards. And McPherson for over the kicker for over 2 kicks. And I needed 2. I got 2 on the kicks. I needed for over 55 yards. Travion Henderson got 66. I needed 22 completions, and he got 22 completions.
Right on the dot.
I needed just 1 interception from Flacco, and he got 1 interception. So it's funny how it all works out sometimes for you. I did take the Patriots +7, and they only won by 6. So I it wasn't all peaches and cream, but I'll take that parlay any day of the week.
For sure. Now that was a good. You know it's going to be a good parlay when you end it off with the kicker +2 kicks. That always seems to work just at the perfect time. Every time I throw that on the little tail end of a little prize picks, I might pull up. But yeah, the kicks definitely good. The completions, those are the ones that always scare me. When they hit like you said, right on the money. Or you'll miss by just 1 and be so salty for the rest of the day. That's how it usually ends up going, picking the completion.
I wasn't confident on anything, because Drake May's yardage was kind of high. Yardage was like 260. I wasn't really confident on that one.
No.
I figured they would throw the ball a lot. I actually got in a situation where they probably weren't going to throw the ball again. But what happened was the Bengals scored another touchdown.
Right at the end. Yep.
Yeah, and that put the game within 3, and so and they needed a first down, and so he ended up having to throw the ball on the 3rd and and he got to complete. And that was the last throw of the game that he got it on too, and I was like, oh shucks, I needed that.
Yeah.
I was happy about that, but I pretty much knew they were gonna pack it in once they got that. They were gonna play for the field goal. In other words. So that wasn't going to take me over my 7. But, hey, you got to take it. You got to take wins when you get them, man. Because, I've had Sundays where I lost the parlay and the game at the same time. So,
And your team will lose. That's what just makes it the worst little end on the end of sprinkling on.
We on a roll here, too, man. I think it's 2 weekends in a row where the Titans, where the Texans and the Cowboys won.
Texas team stepping up. I think Longhorns in there included too. Longhorns got them a win.
Oh yeah, they got them a win. So we on the roll, man. Yeah. We can see how Thanksgiving gonna be tough for everybody. we got the Eagles. I'm not sure.
We got the Colts.
Yeah, y'all have the Colts. We have oh man. Yeah. It's funny. We got the teams that played last week. We have the Kansas City Chiefs who beat the Colts. And we have the Colts. The Colts gonna come in. One thing about the Colts, they don't need the victory. But we're gonna face a Kansas City team that can't afford to can't lose any more games, or their playoff lives are at risk. And the Cowboys are after a victory against the Eagles, all of a sudden they're in the hunt for the playoffs. They're one game behind the 7th position in the playoffs, which I didn't realize that until they put a graphic up the other night.
Yeah, I seen it on Sunday night.
Yeah. They put it up on Sunday night, and I was like, whoa. They're in the hunt.
Yeah, they're right there. They're right there in the mix with everybody. Texans, same deal. Playing against a Colts team that's at the top of the division, but if we win that game, we'll be 1 game behind them for first place in the division. So it's crazy how things are shaking up these last couple of weeks. I want to jump straight into this football, though, y'all. Obviously, biggest story of the entire weekend. Sheduer Sanders got his first start versus the Las Vegas Raiders, wins 24-10 in this game, goes 11 for 20, 209 yards, a touchdown, and 1 interception. Only got sacked once. Somehow his QBR is only 8. I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm never using QBR from the ESPN metric again after seeing this last weekend. Pretty crazy. But we'll talk about that. Quinshon Judkins led the team in rushing. He had a couple of touchdowns as we saw him get in the Wildcat formation. He hit Dylan Sampson on the screen, takes it all the way to the house. Overall, a decent game for Sheduer Sanders. Some people are saying, it wasn't the best game in the world. I mean, it's a rookie going off 1 week of practice, playing on the second worst team in the NFL. I don't know why some people expected him to come out and throw for 600 yards in his first game, but he didn't. Had a solid game, 200 yards, got a touchdown up on the board. More importantly, they got a win, their first win, I think, since the beginning of October. So definitely a much-needed win for all the Cleveland fans out there. Before the game, we saw Sheduer display a little bit of bravado. They asked him, what do you want to say about your first start? He says that I'm what they've been looking for. And that's a lot to say before you get your first start. He goes out there and delivers. After the game, he says, this just off of 1 week of practice. Imagine what a full offseason look like. It gets scary. Hey, I agree with Sheduer. Some people say, hey, Sheduer, keep it down. You just got your first win against the last place team. All the stuff this dude has been through that they've said about him, all that he's had to take over the last 6 to 7 months of criticism, unwarranted criticism, made up stories. Now he gets in, balls out, and, hey, Sheduer, be quiet. First off, do we forget this dude's dad is primetime Deion Sanders? You think some of that just don't resonate and live with him as well? Like, that is what it is. We're going to talk about all that as well. But overall, Sheduer gets his first start. He'll be getting his second start. He was named the starter on Monday. He'll get his second start this Sunday, playing against a much more formidable opponent in the San Francisco 49ers, who are sitting at 7-4 so far on the season. Rock, what was your take on the game, the entire experience, post-game, pre-game, everything with Sunday and Sheduer getting his first start?
So, Lee, okay, I'd like to, first off, I think shortly after we did the show on Tuesday, or while we were doing the show, it became confirmed that he was going to be the starter. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a real smart move by the organization to go ahead and announce him. So Wednesday coming in, when the guys report on Wednesday, everybody understands that 12 is going to be behind the center. Mm-hmm. That gives everybody some, to make whatever preparations they need to in order to deal with that. More importantly, Kevin Stefanski can answer all those questions about, Sheduer and get them out of the way during the week. And Sheduer gets a full week of prep, understanding that he's going to be the starter. So I think all of that part of it went really well. Then he comes in and before the game, he's asked, one, he gets to see his dad before the game on the field. Yep. I thought, and that was, surprisingly, that was facilitated by Mark Davis, of the Raiders. Yeah. You know what I mean? That was interesting that he would be sitting in, be given access by Mark Davis. Yeah.
I think Mark Davis wanted Sheduer in the draft. That's a whole nother story. But I think he wanted to get Sheduer.
So he got this. And so, hey man, you hadn't seen your dad probably in 6 months maybe or more.
Yeah, yeah.
And
he went to Colorado
on the bye week. On the bye week. Yeah. Went to Colorado on the bye week. Anyway, he gets a chance to see his dad and understands that this will be his first time his dad seeing him play. I thought that was a great. And then as a rookie, you ask him the reporter asks him the questions, what do you want to say about your first start or whatever. He say, I just want to let them know I'm who they've been looking for. And I thought that was a bar right there.
That was cold, man.
Yeah. And he didn't even wait. Wasn't no follow-up questions.
No, he walked off, so we can't get no follow-up questions after that. That's the walk-off when I say that.
And so it let me know that he was in a mindset that he was confident, and he was in a mindset which lets me know he was in the mindset that he's always been in, that he can get this done and that he's confident that he's the man for the job. And so that was great to hear. And then getting in the game, I thought his first pass was decisive, even though it wasn't enough for the first down. Mm-hmm. I understood that they were going to be very conservative early, but in the second drive, I was glad to see them put him in much better situations. I think the punt return kind of gave them a buck. You know what I mean? He was able to get the ball to Harold Fanning, number 44, and even though he was able to drive him in the red zone, the drive in the red zone was capped off by Quinshon Junkins running it in out of the Wildcat. People criticize that as Sheduer not being part of their red zone or their short yardage or whatever. I think that's a great way to protect a young quarterback, to be honest with you. And they probably should have been using that when Dylan Gabriel was playing.
Yeah, honestly.
To be honest with you. But I didn't mind that. Main reason why I didn't mind it, because it was effective. You know what I mean? You always can second guess it if it didn't work, but the fact of the matter is it did work. and Sheduer was able to get the ball in the end zone. I mean, the Browns were able to get the ball in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Then you move on later in the game, you realize that Cleveland's defense is playing at a tremendous level.
Yeah.
Not only was my man Myles Garrett playing at a high level, the entire defense and the coverage that Denzel Ward was
one of the best in the league.
Was doing, and well, really the Cleveland secondary. We knew it was going to be a pretty long day for Geno Smith because of how they were playing, and Sheduer probably was going to be put in the position of, if we could just keep this thing on the tracks, we'd be all right. So with the game 7-0, them with having the ball just outside plus territory, on I believe it was 3rd and 9 maybe. They blitz Sheduer. He bails out the pocket, and rather than throw it out of bounds or check it down, he goes for the gusto. Mm-hmm. And I think from that point on, it was an avalanche of energy in the stadium behind Sheduer. I think after that play happened, everybody who had hoped he had done well could exhale, and the moment had happened.
Yep.
And believe it, and again, once that moment happened, I think the rest of the game was what can you call it? Just what do they call it? It was just the rest of the game was just routine. It wasn't there was no need for anything else spectacular. I don't think Kevin Stefanski was going to give him an opportunity to be spectacular.
No, he wasn't.
And I think that was a sound strategy as a coaching staff that, hey, let's just give him stuff he can do or whatever. He didn't face many critical situations, even when he was in 3rd down a lot. They elected to do safe plays that probably weren't going to pick up the 3rd down. The defense was playing lights out. And even though they weren't able to sustain drives and all that kind of stuff, again, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that the Cleveland defense was not going to let them lose the game. The question I have pondered since the game, because I watched every minute of the game, is it was almost like a Cleveland home game in Raider Stadium.
Absolutely.
I've experienced that on watching Cowboy games. There are certain places we go as Cowboy fans where we somehow capture the energy in the stadium and become the home team. I know. We used to do that in the Cardinal Stadium quite a bit.
I was just about to say anywhere on the West Coast. Chargers, is really bad. Rams, West Coast games.
So we've captured, and that's what I felt like Cleveland did. They captured the energy in the stadium, and it became their home venue from an energetic standpoint. And what I've pondered is how much of that is due to Sheduer starting. I've asked some people to kind of quantify it, and a lot of people said 97%, 99%, that's Sheduer, whatever. You got to remember the teams coming in were 8-2. You usually don't see that kind of energy, and of course that has to be infectious to the team as well, and almost demoralizing for the Raiders. So anyway, my point of saying that is there was a special energy in that game, and I think a lot of it had to do with Sheduer Sanders, and so going into this next week, this next home game, I'm really interested to see is how much of that energy that was captured on that Sunday can they carry over to this next Sunday.
Yeah, I think all of that energy, the entire energy in the stadium, I think was provided by Sheduer Sanders. Everybody wanted to come see Sheduer. I didn't see a Browns 95 jersey. Myles Garrett, the season he's having, this might solidify him as a top 5 pass rusher in the history of football with the season he's having right now. I didn't see no 95 jerseys. I saw 12 jerseys standing up in the stadium. I saw this motion getting done in the stadium every time a play would happen. Sheduer, like I said back in August, I was trying to find the clip earlier. This is a tidal wave. You can't stop a tidal wave. Just Google what a tidal wave looks like, a tsunami looks like when it's hitting somewhere. There's no barrier. There's no wall. There's nothing you can do to put this up. We saw it The game on Sunday reminded me of a game that happened about 3 years ago on a Saturday in the beginning of September when Travis Hunter picked that ball off in the end zone against TCU, and it felt like the internet exploded. It felt like the entire world was watching one moment happen, and it wasn't like this was the most national televised game. Same with this game. Felt like the entire world stopped and seen him throw that 40-yard bomb to Isaiah Bond. It didn't matter what social media platform you got on, what was happening. You were going to see that play happening right there. This Sheduer thing is a tidal wave, despite what Kevin Stefanski has tried to do and is actively trying to do, in my opinion. There's nothing he can do to stop this, and that's why it was best for him to name Sheduer the starter. Looking at the post game now after this, Sheduer says the comments he says, this is only 1 week of practice. And he says, imagine what it looks like with the whole offseason. He reiterates it again later on that, I only had 1 week of practice, but, nobody cares. You got to step up to the plate. Stefanski last week reiterating that he's never thrown the ball to these guys before until last week when he got thrust in with Baltimore. Looking at Stefanski now, how much longer do you keep this guy around? That's just my question. I just will have to get to it. How much longer does Kevin Stefanski have to stay around? We saw after the game he's almost jumping up and down and doing a cartwheel to talk about a punt return, to talk about a defensive play. That doesn't have something to do with Myles Garrett. Hey, Sheduer made his first start. Appreciate that, Sheduer. Yeah, I'll tell you, yeah, good job, bro. Yeah, but back to the other guys. You see that block? He called out a block that somebody made. What is going on with Kevin Stefanski? Is he that out of touch with reality and what is happening right now with the Cleveland Browns that you just, good job, Sheduer. Let's talk about some blocking and stuff going on. Then you look at you're on the 30-yard line. The 30-yard line. I don't even want to kick a field goal and say, let's run the score up some more against the Raiders. Let's punt the football on the 30-yard line. I've never seen nobody do that in Madden, in high school, in college football.
Actually, it was a 29, I think.
What is happening? He punted come on, bro. Can you, Rock, I'll let you add. What do you think about Stefanski and this whole, his press game, how he handled it after the strange calls within the game? It's not just me. You, like myself, watch Chase Daniels' breakdown. I watch all Chase Daniels' breakdown. I think his breakdowns are great. He said, what are these plays that they're running? What is this? What type of plays are these? It's like he almost doesn't want someone to succeed. And I don't want to go out into, the conspiracy stuff, but it's right there in your face sometimes. What do you think about this Stefanski deal, Rock? It keeps getting more strange to me, in my opinion.
So I think Kevin Stefanski is a coach that has been highly touted very early in his head coaching career.
Yeah.
He's been coaching 6 years, and he's won a couple Coach of the Year. So he has quite a bit of confidence too. He probably has a lot of confidence in what he believes and what he sees. He probably wants the game played in a certain way, right? However, at the end of the day, and you may understand this,
mm-hmm.
and I use the term play the game in a certain way,
mm-hmm.
in the same way that Larry Brown used to say it about his frustration with Allen Iverson.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I want him to play the game the right way.
Yeah.
Well, what I think what you have to take into account when you're dealing with a special talent, I'll just say that, a special talent, and everybody in the stadium, all the fans understand that, I know you want the game played a certain way, but this guy is unique and he can play it in a way, and the people that play with him buy into the way that he plays the game. So whereas you may have wanted Allen Iverson to share the ball and pass and have a well-rounded team concept of a game, the reality is everybody realized when they stepped on the court with AI, he was the guy that's going to have to put the ball in the basket, and we were much better if we all facilitated him putting the ball in the basket.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably what Kevin Stefanski is struggling with is, I want the game played I see the game a certain way, I want it played a certain way, and ultimately this guy doesn't fit the mold that I have for quarterback. You got to understand that guys, he's had guys like Case Keenum and Kirk Cousins and those guys, which those guys have to depend on the system to provide a level of security for them. They have to play in a certain structure in order for them to succeed. Well, when you got guys like Baker Mayfield and also now Sheduer Sanders, they almost thrive outside of structure, right? And they're almost like point guards or artistes. In the way that they play the game, play the quarterback position, and maybe that's antithetical to how Kevin Stefanski wants the game played. Again, I understand that coaches have their way of doing business. They want to do business a certain way. But I think we're to the point to where now Kevin Stefanski has to shift gears and say, my long-term viability in this with the Cleveland Browns is literally based on how much support I'm able to provide to the player that Sheduer Sanders is, not the player that I want him to be. Because the player that he is creates a certain energy, creates that tidal wave. You understand? That in that interest, and letting him play free gives us the best chance to win. Not because I'm not saying one is schematically more sound than other. I'm saying that the player is just that gifted, and we should give him the leeway to be who he truly is, and support him in that way. And I just don't. I don't. Even when you draft a guy like Dylan and you draft a guy like Sheduer, for a number of reasons, I don't even think you should even run the same offense with those two guys, because they're so different in the way that they play the game. You know. Dylan is, as we've seen Dylan through 5 games, he seems to be very risk averse, very conservative in how he plays, and willing to stick with the play and not improvise. And Sheduer is a guy who plays the game hyper aggressive and always looking for the chunk play or the big play. And sometimes we know, because we watched him 2 years at I watched him 2 years at Jackson State and 2 years at Colorado. He often hunts up the big play because that's just his personality on the field. And so, again, I think Kevin Stefanski has to, if he wants to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, he's going to have to provide support to Sheduer Sanders and facilitate the player that he is, not the player that he wants him to be.
How big of an indictment would it be if the Browns are able to run off 2 or 3 games in these last few games of the season and have success on the offensive side of the ball? Is that an indictment on Coach Stefanski?
So I think he could. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jalen. I think he can survive, because at the end of the day, the organization chose to sign Joe Flacco. They gave Joe Flacco 4 games. Their next pick was Dylan Gabriel, and guess what? I'm of the mindset is you can't draft a guy 3rd, right? And then draft another guy 5th, and then give the 5th guy preferential treatment. Again, I've always said this. The problem with what they did is they put Dylan in a bad situation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They put Dylan in a bad. For whatever reason, Sheduer falling maybe they didn't expect Sheduer to be there much longer after they drafted Dylan, and this was never a problem. But the minute you draft Sheduer, you undermine the viability of Dylan for a couple reasons. One, Sheduer is just obviously a more talented quarterback, in my opinion, than Dylan Gabriel, right? We could talk about the height, we can talk about the arm strength, we can talk about a whole bunch of stuff. And the other thing that you mentioned early on, that's just your fame and the tsunami of interest that this guy brings. It puts the guy in front of me in a very untenable
terrible spot. It put Dylan Gabriel in
an untenable situation. I mean, how can you develop as a quarterback when nothing you do really, again, short of Dylan Gabriel winning the Super Bowl, everybody was going to be on board with at some point giving Sheduer a shot. Like that was going to be the narrative. Now him going 1-5, 1-4 didn't help the situation at all either.
No.
And his play certainly didn't help the situation either. And then Kevin Stefanski obviously showing a level of favoritism or protection for Dylan even after he wasn't playing well. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That didn't, but you got to understand, it only becomes an issue because of how famous and how much interest is in Sheduer getting an opportunity. And now that he has an opportunity, I hope that, as a Sheduer fan, I hope that he does well with it. One of the people now, I follow Garrett Bush has made the obvious analysis that at this point you can't shut Sheduer down. You have to let him go, and because if you shut him down now and go back to Dylan, you have that direct comparison. Not only that, you go into the offseason, and who knows what guys are going to would offer you for Sheduer, if in fact, he ends up because here's the reality. You're in a situation that if you bring Sheduer, if Sheduer has a good run, you're gonna have to bring a seasoned backup quarterback. And that's one thing I think both of them have been done a disservice because they've been supposedly in a competition with a veteran quarterback where they should have been learning from a veteran quarterback.
Exactly.
And so I think in this situation, you bring a guy, they need to bring a veteran quarterback in. And if Sheduer is able to hold on as a starter, then you bring a veteran in that can back up Sheduer and then allow Dylan to work in as your third team quarterback at that point for the upcoming season. Again, I expect Sheduer to play well enough to earn another serious look next season. They've got some really tough games here coming up.
They got 3 of their 6 games are against really formidable opponents, good playoff teams, the 49ers, Bears, and Bills, and Steelers, really. So 4 of the next 6 games are against some pretty decent opponents coming up. They got 49ers on Sunday, 12 o'clock game. They'll be able to get to see what he looks like against a real deal defense. Obviously, they're down Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, but this is a 7-4 football team that's trying to win their division.
Absolutely, but here, to me, it shapes up really great for them in this game. Look, they got the Niners on that 10 a.m. clock.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. On the travel.
Got the Niners. They're gonna have to
Taking
report.
the Thanksgiving off.
They're gonna have to report to the stadium at 6 a.m. Pacific time. Right. They're gonna get, and so a lot is working in their favor. Let's be honest. The Niners defense, though they played decent Monday night, they're coming off a short week.
Yep.
How is that going to affect them? Cleveland showed themselves to be a really physical running team. Couldn't they bounce back physically if Cleveland commits to running the football? And we all know, they have decent DBs over there at San Fran, but at the end of the day, we know what play action is able to do. Like I say, I see a game where Sheduer goes 17 or 24 for 219, and the Browns run the ball for another 119. What Sheduer is going to have to do is not commit the big turnover. Like I say, as well as the 49ers played Monday night. Those turnovers don't happen for Carolina. They're in a dogfight.
Oh yeah.
They're in a dogfight. If Bryce Young throws that touchdown when they got so what I'm saying is this is not and again, the Niners, the Carolina defense and Browns defense is not even in the same stratosphere.
No. Night and day.
Right. So, and with Brock Purdy giving the ball away at a high rate there, what I like to see is so we got a direct comparison between Geno and Sheduer. I believe Sheduer can do what Geno does.
Yeah.
Pretty sound. Now we get a chance to see him play against a $50 million quarterback.
Yeah.
A guy that was drafted Mr. Relevant in the 7th round. A guy that probably should be of similar talent if you looking at the draft where they were drafted. And let's see who is able to who I'm not saying he's going to outplay Brock Purdy, but from a talent standpoint, you should able to see flashes of what Sheduer possibly could be if given the support that he has. And I think in this particular situation, they'll be working with comparable wide receivers, if you ask me. I wouldn't be scared of Ricky Pearsall and Brian Jennings.
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's going to be too much for Denzel Ward.
No, I don't think that'll be too much at all. I think all the points you just brought about the 49ers game are true. Coming off a short week, early morning flight, they got to shake off the Thanksgiving. They got to stop having Thanksgiving and go get on a plane. Cleveland just stops having Thanksgiving and just goes to practice the next day and works out and goes and plays a game on Sunday. So two completely different things. This will be a good chance for them because you're playing against a bright defensive mind in their coaching staff of the 49ers and what Robert Saleh can do. But with Bosa being gone, with Warner being gone, there's nobody on that defense that scares you. So you get a chance to go out there and try to see, can you do some things? I think Jerry Jeudy, if he can get open and hold on to the football and stop dancing and get out of bounds, he can have a decent game out there. They've got really good tight ends. One of my favorite picks of the draft was by the Browns, and it was them getting Harold Fannin in that 3rd round because if you watch college football the last couple of years, you know that Harold Fannin broke every tight end record possible. He was just playing at a low school in Bowling Green, so nobody really knew him. But the dude can play. Quinshon Judkins, we know what he can do out there. I'm excited to see what Sheduer and those guys can do. To go back to my other point, I think there was a couple indictments on Stefanski so far this year. And, yes, I do think if they win a couple games, he can save his job because who are you going to go get right now if you're the Cleveland Browns? I could see a reason why they stay with Stefanski. I wouldn't, but I can see a reason why. One of the indictments is if Sheduer goes out there and plays well these last few games, it's obvious, hey, what were you doing? You were just wasting around with our season. Your defense is actually probably one of the best defenses in the NFL this year. So you wasted a potential playoff year messing around with Dillon Gabriel. Second indictment, we can just go back and now call the lies that we knew lies. We can look at them and say they're lies. All the supercomputer stuff of Dillon Gabriel, all the things that you projected on to Dillon Gabriel or that you try to project onto the reason why Sheduer wasn't playing are actually the strengths of Sheduer and the weaknesses of Dillon Gabriel. Sheduer can process a blitz, seeing right at the line. If you look back, they just blitzed him similar to that on a 3rd down, the 3rd down right before then. It was almost the exact same blitz, except he threw the ball out of bounds, got pressure early, said, oh, man, let me just get the ball out of bounds. They do the exact same thing again, thinking he's not a supercomputer. He can't process this blitz. Okay, here's a 40-yard over the head, and I'm going to hit you with real quick. Those are the things they said Dillon Gabriel could do, but obviously he couldn't do those things. But those are the things he's a super processor, and he's so accurate, he's actually wildly inaccurate, just like he was in college, and he doesn't have a supercomputer. And Sheduer doesn't have an NFL arm. This is why he fell to the 5th round. We watch him make that play, and NFL quarterbacks come out and say, no, that's actually a crazy good play to be able to move on the run like that, throw a dot right in the basket of a receiver all 40 yards down the field is actually a really good play. Then you look at the Joe Flacco thing. Joe Flacco comes in, starts the season, he looks terrible. Joe Flacco can't play anymore. It's just time for him to retire. He goes to Cincinnati. He throws for 1,200 yards in 4 games. There's your third indictment on. How many of these do we have to get on Kevin Stefanski before we move on, before they decide to move on from him? But I get it. I don't know what's going on with the Browns organization. Obviously, the response of Andrew Berry after the game, hugging Sheduer like it was his son that just graduated from college, and then kind of breaking off after shows me this is what it's been from the beginning. It's been the your guy versus my guy. Andrew Berry just sat back and waited in the shadows and said, you know what, I'll let y'all get it off. Go ahead and throw Dillon Gabriel out there. Let's see what he can do. Oh, he can't play just like we thought he couldn't play? Cool. To your point, that doesn't have anything to do with Dillon Gabriel. He got put in the worst scenario out of anybody in all of this, in this whole Brown situation. He got put in an absolutely terrible situation because I'm not going to say he knows. We know that Sheduer Sanders is a better prospect than Dillon Gabriel. He's going to get offers. I mean, he's going to get the opportunity to play before him because he was a 3rd-round pick. He was a 5th-round pick, but that puts Dillon Gabriel in a bad spot because you know you can't outplay this guy and that he's better than you. And the second that you get hurt or slip up too much, Sheduer will come in and you're probably not going to see the field again.
So you're saying that it's, and I'm just being fair in this, is that you say that it's clear that he's better than him, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think anything that we've seen as a fan base, we couldn't definitively say that because we hadn't had any evidence of Sheduer on the field. As long as you keep Sheduer on the bench, you can say anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now that we've seen Sheduer, like, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. And I think up until the point to where he played, you know, we, again, as Sheduer fans, we have to be objective when we think about this, right? We believe our guy can play. We believe he can. We believe he's better than Dillon. But there was no evidence of that we could definitely say other than what we believed. And
not in the NFL,
yeah. And even in college, well, Dillon had a decorated collegiate career. He played the only thing that Sheduer had done better than Dillon, statistically, was the completion percentage. Like, Sheduer had a higher completion percentage, again, but not taking away the fact that that Dillon played on a sensational team his senior year,
and junior year.
Yeah, and junior year at Oklahoma. So again, and Sheduer had never had the compliment of having the kind of weapons that he and we're learning now through Sheduer that and this is a point that I think is that we're missing. Not that we're missing, but I think a lot of people have missed in this conversation, is that Dillon was a great player. Dillon was a great collegiate player that played with other really good, great collegiate players. Sheduer played with players that he assisted them, he elevated their play, right? He elevated Jimmy Horn. He elevated Wester. He elevated, and everybody knows, Travis Hunter, right? Because based on their production prior to being with Sheduer and after they got with Sheduer. And after, so we have that. The unfortunate situation is I don't believe that Dillon, if there's anything I've been able to come away from this up to this far, is that Dillon is not an elevator of talent. Whatever you are when you play with Dillon is what you are. And I believe that Sheduer has the ability to take a Harold Fanning and have him play the next level. Take a Jerry Jeudy and play at another level. Because again, it was 11 completions. But I think all of those guys probably had their best game. Sunday. Definitely Harold Fanning. Had his best game.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, and with all those guys playing better, I'm just really excited about what they'll be able to do in this next upcoming game with a little more practice, with a little more understanding, and then with them having more belief in Sheduer and Sheduer having more belief in them. Sky's the limit at this point.
It is.
And I'm just looking forward to, as a fan, I'm gonna be rooting for Sheduer, but as a person who likes to evaluate talent, I'll be looking for those things that give me an indication that what I believed that he was in college, he can be in the pros.
I agree. I think Sheduer, we're going to get a chance to see a lot more of him named the starter for this upcoming week going against the 49ers. We'll get to see him against some real deal competition this upcoming Sunday. I know everybody will be tuned in the way we watched a 2-9 Raiders team play a 2-8 Browns team. I know we'll all be watching this Sunday against the 49ers. There was another football game on Sunday that was pretty important, man, and that leads right us into this Thanksgiving as well. Dallas Cowboys getting a huge, huge victory over the Philadelphia Eagles in comeback fashion, what always seems to make it a little bit better. I was watching this game at P.F. Chang's, eating with the family, and, it got to be 21-0 quick out there with Philly being up. And I'm like, man, what is going on? I'm so
Yeah,
busy
I'm glad
watching
the
Sheduer.
I'm glad
Yeah.
the Sheduer game was on.
Yeah, me too.
I had
was
both
watching
of them up.
I'm
but-
watching the Sheduer one on my phone, on my laptop, and I'm watching on my phone because we're in PF Chang's. My dad decided to act like we were back in Houston, in the part of Houston where he's from. He got a laptop out with a portable battery next to him on the table. I'm like, man, these people establishment wasn't meant for that. But
Yeah.
we were all watching that. I just keep
Y'all
looking
turned
up.
PF Chang's into a sports bar.
Man, that's quick. We turning into what's Doghouse, whatever, right on Waco Drive. We turned into that mug quick. But I was like, okay, watching the Sheduer game. Every time I look up, just Philly scoring again. I'm like, man, what is going on? I didn't think we talked about the game beforehand. I didn't think Philly had a great chance to come in and just put a beat down on Dallas in this game with the way Philly was playing and with the way Dallas was playing. But as the Sheduer game started to wrap up, and it seemed like it was just at the right time that the Dallas Cowboys, I'm like, oh, they going to make this a game. They scored one, and then I see them start to let the manimal loose, what I've been calling him, and George Pickens, who has clearly become the number one receiver on the Dallas Cowboys. Once they started letting the manimal loose, all of a sudden the tide started switching. The Dallas Cowboys stadium starts to erupt more and more with each catch. Next thing I know, Dallas is tying this ball game up. Philly gets the ball to come back, gets the ball again, a chance to go and close it out. I'm thinking there's 5 minutes left. They're just going to run the clock out, go down here, kick the field goal. They can't do much and nothing moving the ball. Dallas comes back, ends up getting the game, winning field goal in this game. What do you think about Dallas getting a big-time win over Philly in a game that we both said Dallas had a pretty good chance to go out there and win this game, playing at home against the Philadelphia Eagles?
I mean, Jalen Hurts started the game off hot. I thought they started off hot. They came in, they were up 21-7 going into halftime, and then they got into the part of the game that really for all season that we've been terrible with. Teams get a lead on us, then they're able to run the ball down our throat. They weren't able to run the ball down our throat, and so therefore. They went back to a passing game, and the passing game, though they were able to get some success, they would always go back to the running game, and again, their offense eventually stalled out. And we got in, we scored a touchdown in the third quarter, and then once we scored that, once it got to 21-14, you knew the avalanche was coming.
Yeah.
And I felt like we would at least get the game tied. I didn't know whether we win the game, but the Avalanche came and Philly, for much of the fourth quarter, they were fighting uphill. Like they couldn't get their sea legs. You know what I mean? They had. It's almost like they had spent themselves going up 21, and they weren't going to be able to hold us off on it because we were able to run the ball, we were able to pass the ball. Like you say, that bad man George Pickens. He is trouble.
He's a monster.
He's trouble. And again, I'm not willing to say he's our number one. But when you have 9 catches on 9 targets,
Come on, man. And the other dude got 11 targets for 4 of them. Now I'm not bashing CD at all. I still know CD is a great receiver.
Yeah,
and
then here's the problem that's making it look bad. CD was part of the reason why they were up 21.
Yeah, for sure.
He dropped some passes in the first half that probably should have led to would led to scoring drives. You know what I mean? So again, with that being said, he has to play better. But again, George Pickens is everything. I'll put it like this. He's not our number one receiver. I won't disrespect CD like that. But he's everything you want a number one receiver to be.
He's everything that you would expect to see out of the white and blue with an 88 on the back of their jersey. He plays like the other 2 88s. He just don't have the number. CD ends up having them. And before the season, or even as he started to have success, I said, okay, Cowboys probably go in. You franchise tag George Pickens for a couple years. Then you see where his head's at, how his performances when you pay him. Man, I know they're probably still going to go with that plan. You don't franchise tag this. This is not something you see every day. The connection between him and Dak Prescott is not something you just get all the time. This is lightning in the bottle. You got to do something with this, in my opinion, with the way that George Pickens look. But looking at the Eagles, this offense, man, the woes continue for this offense. It looked good in the first half. And in the second half, you can't get a point. You score 1 point, you win the game. You can't get a point in the entire second half, really from the mid-second quarter on. You don't score any points whatsoever. This Philly offense has a lot of questions to answer. I think their defense is still playing pretty good football right now. But with the way the offense is playing, I don't know. I don't know about this Philly team. I was sure that Philly, they'll probably come back out of the NFC again. They'll have a chance to compete for another Super Bowl. Not saying they won't be able to do that, but I've got my reservations as of now with this Philadelphia offense and the way that they played over the last couple of weeks. And then the Cowboys obviously have a huge game coming up on Thursday against the Kansas City Chiefs, as you alluded to earlier. You're playing a Kansas City Chiefs team it's the Chiefs. It's 15 out there. It's Andy Reid, the whole 9 yards. But they're playing desperation football. They're sitting at 6-5, trying to find their way into the playoffs. I don't know. They're not mathematically eliminated from winning their division. It's going to be pretty hard for them to win that division. What do you think about this Dallas game against Kansas City coming up?
It's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a game that you're gonna find out what our team is made of. I looked at last week's game as a measure stick, and the way we came out and played was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so I look at this game as a measure stick. I'll be honest with you. Kansas City can do the same thing the Eagles did if we don't have our head on straight.
Mm-hmm.
And by all accounts, they have a much better quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, though Jalen Hurts played phenomenal.
Yeah, he did.
He played phenomenal. You got Rasheed Rice coming home. You got Patrick Mahomes coming home. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they're going to try to be. They're going to be trying to put it on the show for the home folks. But again, I think our defense is better, and I'd like to see what we can do. Can we hold our own in a must-have game for both teams? Can we hold our own? Can we play with Can we play with force? And can we hold on to it? If we're able to get this game here, then even I will start thinking playoffs. But if we can't get this game in here, I'm looking forward to offseason and maybe getting Jordan Pickett signed and whatever. Again, and even if we lose this game, we still may be able to make it to the playoffs because the way things are going. But I'm gonna be thinking playoffs if we're able to get this game, because this game will have that playoff energy.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, Thanksgiving, Dak has showed up really big week after week. I mean, year after year in these situations. He used to have a running buddy named Zeke Elliott that also would show up big in those situations. And maybe he has that running buddy now, Williams, that could probably provide some of that same punch that Zeke used to provide, because he's playing phenomenal. Well, I mean, we got two very good problems right now. We got Williams, Javonte Williams, and we have George Pickens. You know, I like to have those problems at the end of the season where we got a guy that's run for 1,300 yards, and then we got another guy that's caught 1,300 yards. There's no way you can go in the next season and without those guys if they give you that kind of production. We have to make concessions for them. It looks like, you know, based on our cap situation, we should be able to, with the money that we should have given Micah, we end up maybe picking up, not on a 1-for-1 trade, but we may end up getting quality players in exchange because that Pickens deal looks horrible for Pittsburgh right now.
Oh, terrible! It's terrible. Now, DK is playing just like how I said DK would play.
Well, I mean, I don't think you compare DK. DK's one of my favorite guys in the league.
Yeah.
They try to play him like a straight wide receiver, and he's not. They should be able to put him in more action than they're putting him in. But again, my point is, thank you, Steelers.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
Yeah, for getting them. And the money you missed out with Micah, you'll be able to get. I mean, Pickens is. You're not going to get a better deal than what you got for Pickens. A guy that can be a true number one, a guy that's going to be top 5 in catches, yards, and touchdowns by the end of the season. Javonte Williams, same thing. You get him on a league minimum. He comes in and rushes for 1,300 yards. You can't beat that. You get both of those guys paid up. Williams will be cheap. Pickens is going to be expensive, but You can cut money once you decide to finally cut Trayvon Diggs since he's not playing anyway. You cut Trayvon Diggs. You find some type of way to restructure or end up cutting Odigizua since you got Kenny Clark and you got Quentin Williams now within that interior line. And you find yourself having some more money to figure some things out on that team, like signing Pickens and like signing Javonte Williams.
Odigizua, he could just take a pay cut. I mean, it's,
Well, he might not want to take a pay cut. He just got paid 6 months ago. So they might say no, and he might be unemployed after that.
Yeah, he may not see much of that money.
No, I don't think he's going to see too much of any of it because I think they're going to say.
How much of it's guaranteed?
I'm not sure. It wasn't a lot, though, when I remember looking at the deal. It wasn't, it was only $80 million. I don't want to say only $80 million. It was $80 million. So, $20 to $30 million or less on a signing bonus, you're getting cut. They'll give you that $20 to $30 million and send you on about your way so we ain't got to pay you $20 over the next 3 years that he'll be making. I think they'll find a way to get Pickens shirt up. Like you said, Cowboys still, even if they lose this game.
Yeah, they got money to pay Pickens. I imagine this is what I really believe.
Mm-hmm.
They have money where they can pay Pickens this year before the end of the season, before the end of the year, before the end of the, what do they call it, the year.
Yeah.
They got $22 million available. They'll give George 20 up front, and then get him in the deal where they can probably work with him for a little more. Because again, this $22 million, you probably can do a little something for Williams as well, if you're feeling real benevolent.
Yeah, no, I think they'll have money to be able to give up both. They've been underneath the cap for 2 years in a row now, so they got money somewhere. They just didn't want to give it to Michael Parsons, but it could end up working out for them. You get a George Pickens, you get a Quentin. If you look at everything that they'll end up with, the George Pickens, a Quentin Williams, a Javonte Williams, then you can say, okay, well maybe it wasn't so bad for them to pass up on that. But I think they'll be fine. I think they'll find a way to get Pickens and stuff out there. Before we move on, looking at Philadelphia, they got a game coming up, not on Thanksgiving, but the day after Thanksgiving on Black Friday against a pretty tough Bears team is what it's looked like so far. Does Philly still look like the dominant superpower, in your opinion, in the NFC, based on what we've seen? They're sitting at 8-3 in the NFC right now. Are they still the dominant gene in that NFC pool right now?
Did you see the first half?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they still. They still a dominant superpower. They got 21 up. They may have got complacent, comfortable. Came in against a Cowboy team that had a little fire with some new players, and they were able to put up a decent fight. Like I say, man, they played well, and they were able to get the ball too. It's funny. They were able to solve all the problems they had coming in the game. They were able to get the ball to A.J. Green. I mean, they were able to do all those things. They did the one thing that they should have went in to do, which was win the game, and they weren't able to do that. So that's why sometimes when you talk about let's get the ball to our players, let's get our guys involved, all that good stuff, all that sounds great. But if you don't win the game, what does it work?
It don't matter. And it seems like every time they have one of those let's force the ball to A.J. Brown type of games, they end up losing or end up being in a predicament close to losing. Where every time Philadelphia decides to do that.
I'll just say this, and this is one of the things I think Philly kind of falls in this situation. They want to be a glamour girl. They want to be looked at and desired for their beauty. But really, they're just a really nice girl with a great personality. You understand what I'm saying? And they want to almost play down the fact that they have a great personality. But they want to be recognized for their beauty. And I say to hell with it. If you're going to be recognized, if you have a great personality as a mildly attractive woman, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're an average looking girl with a great personality, you're still a 7 in my eye.
Yeah.
Right? You're just as good as a great-looking girl with a bad attitude. You understand? And so my point is they want to be recognized for being kind of a high-powered offense, whatever, when they're not. They're not a In the boxing analogy, they're not a slick boxer. They're a bruiser. They like to get you in close quarters. They're a pressure fighter. You understand what I'm saying? And it doesn't look pretty. The fight doesn't look pretty, and more importantly, the thing is, the other team doesn't enjoy playing it like that very much. And I think that's when they're most effective. When they get in these games where they have to throw the ball around the yard, they ultimately, sometimes they're able to pull it out. But those ugly games, they seem to always win those.
Always.
Right?
Always, yeah.
Those ugly games. And so I think they should spend more time trying to get in those ugly games because at the end of the day, that fits their personality. Trying to be a high-flying, throw the ball around the yard offense, I think it really goes away from the identity that's really successful for them. What really works for them is running the football, playing good defense, and timely precision passing when needed.
Yeah, I agree. They try to get cute, as Coach Tusa will say, too much on offense, and it ends up backfiring when they're not that team. They're to just grind it out. Let's play good defense. Let's run the ball on first down. Let's establish a run. Let's do the tush push, the ugly plays, but it results in wins.
And the other side of it is too, like, let's be honest. Part of the reason why Saquon Barkley was so dominant last year is the threat of Jalen Hurts running the football.
Yes. Yeah.
That threat, they used it in the first half against the Cowboys, and they didn't go back to him running the football, thank God. You understand? So I'm saying, hey, that's who you are. You're going to have to, in the big games, I'm not saying against every game, in the big games, the Eagles are going to have to run the football, man. Yeah. They're not going to be able to not run Jalen Hurts in order to run the football, especially with how their offensive line is playing now.
Horrible. That was the biggest. It turned out to be the biggest miss in the offseason was them trying to replace guys on the offensive line, and then eventually Landon Dickerson getting hurt, which was huge, who was outside of Lane Johnson, their best lineman last year. Him being hurt was huge. They thought they would be able to replace the loss of Mekhi Becton and what he brought to that team last year. They haven't been able to replace that. The offensive line looks terrible. Saquon can't run the ball. It's not like we know Saquon's not bad at football. He just can't run the ball anymore. The offensive line don't look the same at all. Those zone runs, the same running scheme they had last year has not been able to work behind this offensive line for whatever the reason is this year. And that's a huge part of their identity. I think the Eagles, like you, I think they'll be fine moving forward. I don't know if I consider them the superpower in the NFC. The Rams look really, really, really good, in my opinion. But they're right there with those guys. It's a 1A, 1B, however you want to slice it. You can give the edge to Philadelphia. Obviously, they just won the Super Bowl, so they would get the edge.
Well, like I said, I like to see Stafford against a formidable defense. Somebody's going to put some pressure on him. I think Philly matches up really well against those guys.
They do.
In the secondary and also up front. So they're not. And then in my opinion, what the Rams do really well, the Eagles have the ability to nullify that by just getting in heavy formations and running the football and passing out of those heavy formations. You know what I mean? Like the Eagles have a game that they can play that will make every game a dogfight. But for whatever reason, they don't want to play that game. They want to play. They want to throw the ball around.
I don't think they've been able to. I think they've tried to run it. I've seen a few games where Saquon will have 19, 20 carries. That's trying to run the football, and he'll have 30 yards to go with it. So, but what happens in those games? You don't end up, if you get in that heavy set and you try to run the football, you don't stop the clock. 2, and then it gives your defense time to rest. Like I said, they had the Cowboy game where they wanted it, and like you said, they were still trying to get the ball to A.J. Brown in the second quarter. Yes. I mean, in the second half. Yes. When
they should have been turning around, handing that ball off. I know you weren't getting much yards, but I don't think there was much value in trying to force it to A.J. Brown.
No.
When you should have been trying to salt the game away. You were trying to put up more points, and again, it kind of backfired on you.
Yeah, you're trying to use the clock with you, not against you. Once you passing the ball, to your point, that stops the clock. Things start to happen. Somebody can pick the ball off. Somebody's going to fumble the balls. The pass rush is going to get home. Multiple things that can happen. So Philly, it's going to be an interesting one to see how this goes. They've got a great game on Friday, Black Friday at 2 o'clock. We'll get one when they play the Chicago Bears, who I'm ready to see on primetime television, what Caleb Williams and what Coach Ben Johnson looks like on national television in a primetime game. So that should be a really fun game moving forward. Want to hit a couple of quick takes, folks. Here on Centex Primetime. We got a few minutes left. Let's jump into some quick takes, and then we'll jump in and pick the NFL games for this week and then the college games for this week as well. First off, here on the quick takes, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. We obviously know that. Every year I like to do this here on the show. Got to give out top Thanksgiving foods. You get different answers from different people every single year. Rocky, with myself, has been able to do a few different food segments this year on Centex Sports. We had our Friday night show that we were doing during the football season, but want to bring our expertise to the Thanksgiving meal. What are your 5 must-haves to make Thanksgiving when you talk about food? I've been watching all the shows, people giving their different answers and the different things here. What are the 5 must-haves that Rocky's got to have on Thanksgiving?
Turkey, of course, dressing, ham, greens, and those good butter rolls.
The rolls, okay. I'm not mad. That's about the same. Mine's about the same. The turkey, it's got to be there, whether you want to fry it or do it the old school way, however you want to do it. Turkey's got to be a part of it. Dressing has got to be a part of it. And yes, we call it dressing. Y'all have seen the demographic on here long enough. I don't know what stuffing is. Not sure if I've ever eaten it before. But dressing to go with the turkey. Yeah. And then if you want to do, I'm a mac and cheese guy. I got to put a little mac in there. I also love the greens. And some type of dessert. I'm not even a big dessert guy at all. But it's just part of the Thanksgiving aura, in my opinion.
So this is you guys with that mac and cheese. Yeah. Now again, I like mac and cheese, bro. But it's really just noodles and cheese.
I know what it is. It's
just noodles. And I was on HBCU Coach's Corner last week, and I was telling them, hey man, it's just noodles and cheese. Man. We're not talking about anything. I don't care. Gouda, sharp cheddar, all that stuff you put. It's just noodles and cheese, right? And like I say, at the end of the day, I like things with a bit more flavor. So I think dressing. Now I don't know, my algorithm has been crazy with these Thanksgiving foods, man. But I really want to try that seafood dressing, man.
Seafood? Yeah, I've seen that. I
want to try that seafood dressing, man.
I've had some seafood dressing.
Oh, man, I want to try that seafood dressing so bad. With that shrimp and that crab in it, man.
Here's my thing with, I'm talking to the culture here this time in our community. The seafood dressing, I think I've had some, and it's a good idea, and I like it and all that. It's probably good. Can we stop putting seafood on everything? It's seafood and hookah is just taking over in the last couple of years. And I'm getting sick of it. You can get seafood anywhere now. If you go to Houston, you can get a seafood waffle. You can get a seafood boil at breakfast. You can get a seafood dessert. Like, no, I don't want shrimp and everything. I get it. But those are some of the must-haves, though. I throw yams in there as well, too. With some people are yams guy. I'm cool with it, but I understand it. It's Thanksgiving. It's just part of the whole deal. The day should go like waking up. What time do you guys usually eat y'all's Thanksgiving dinner? It's different with black folks. My wife's family, they like to get their things, everything prepared right and nice, and they eat around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock like that. And in our family, our dinner might start about 4 o'clock. People rolling in different times. And the Cowboys game is on by the time I'm eating most of the time. But my Thanksgiving day likes to go, hey, man, I'm going to wake up, watch some football. It's usually going to be Detroit. Thankfully, at this point in my life, Detroit is good at football. So the first game will be a good game as they'll play against the Packers. Then, 3 o'clock, roll around, Cowboys going to play. You're either on your first or your second plate by that time, however you want to do it around 3 o'clock. Then the night game, if you can pry your eyes open long enough, you'll get a chance to see an AFC North game. Sometimes the Steelers-Ravens. This year it's going to be Ravens-Bengals. That's usually how my Thanksgiving goes most of the time. I don't know if it's around the same at your spot or not.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this not really a question, but my deal is I do mine a little different.
Okay.
A little untraditional, unconventional. My wife usually cooks all night long.
Yeah.
And then at about 2:30, everything is hot and good.
Yeah.
2:30 in the morning, everything is hot and good. I done fasted all day. So the truth, I ate lunch and I probably nibble. If she's cooking when I get home, I'll probably nibble.
Mm-hmm.
But just about the time the turkey and the dressing gets done, the greens are probably done. She probably gonna wait for mac and cheese tomorrow, which I don't care about that too much, and the sweet potato. But soon as the dressing and the turkey is ready, I got to get me a plate.
We going right then and there.
I don't care what time it is. I don't care what time it is. It's time to go in. What's that song? I'm going in.
Yeah.
I'm going in.
Hey, I ain't mad at it.
So I get one in, right?
Yeah.
And then like a baby, I get in the bed and go to sleep. Then what I do is when I wake up, we try to have ours, everything reheated and ready to go around 1, 2 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
Because I need to be in a comfortable place by the time the Cowboys come home.
3 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah. I probably, tonight is a good night for some eggnog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have a little eggnog.
Yeah.
You can have it, of course, the kids will have it not injected.
Okay.
The adults will have it.
That's what I was going to ask
injected.
about. Are y'all the eggnog and the spiked eggnog type of deal,
everybody does a little something with the eggnog, a little different.
Yeah.
I know people put Hennessy in the eggnog.
Yeah.
People put all kinds of stuff in the eggnog. I buy normally we get the regular eggnog. We get the regular eggnog, and then we get some that's juiced up, and then I may add a beverage, some bourbon or scotch or something to it. Just if it ain't got enough heat in it already.
Yeah. If it ain't got enough already. The spiked eggnog thing, that always just seemed like a quick trip to the bathroom for me. But, one of these days we'll see. But the eggnog, Thanksgiving, everybody's getting their stuff ready. Rocky just gave y'all play-by-play on if y'all want to have it. See, that's he said this is before and after. This is a 2-a-days type of deal. This is a before and an after for him to get ready for that 3 o'clock game against the Cowboys. I'm going to double back. We'll talk about these games coming up, and we'll break down a couple of these games that are getting ready to come up here while we're talking about Thanksgiving and these new Thanksgiving games we have slated for tomorrow. 3 games for tomorrow, 1 game on Friday. Prime Video got to find a way to get in there somewhere. I thought it was going to be on Thursday, but they snuck them in a Friday game here coming up. Looking at these games for this coming up weekend. Before we do that, let's talk a little bit about these high school games. We got a chance to watch a really cool one last week. Did not turn out great for University as they lost the game last week versus Bastrop. A pretty good Bastrop team, and by pretty good Bastrop team, I mean a really good running back on Bastrop's team that pretty much decided the entire game. 400 yards total, 7 touchdowns in the game. Absolutely phenomenal performance within that game. University star player London Smith also had a really good game in their game as well. Over 250 yards in the game, but just wasn't enough for them to move on and go to the next round in the playoffs. What do you think about University season they had this year in and off London Smith's historic Trojans season or career that he had over his 4-year career?
Hey man, he was one of the University all-time greats.
Yes.
He started 4 years at University. He had great production each and every year. He made his mark this year being a dominant player, and he went out with a bang against Bastrop, going for over 200 yards receiving. He did everything in his power to try to keep him in the game, but it was just a situation where, speaking of an avalanche, Gary Jefferson Jr. was an avalanche running for 392 yards on 36 carries and probably had another 60 or 70 yards receiving.
Yeah, 50 yards receiving and a touchdown to go with it.
Yeah. So I mean, he was sensational. I'm gonna be looking forward to see how Bastrop kind of holds up against their next opponent.
Richmond. Yeah, Richmond out of the Houston area. That they'll be playing they're undefeated on the season as well. Yeah, I agree. Was a historic season for University and for London Smith. Just wasn't anything you can do. A guy goes out there and gets 400 plus yards, man. And 7 touchdowns. What are you gonna do to stop that? Phenomenal game out of Gary Jefferson Jr. I followed him on Instagram. I'm not sure. I didn't see him posting any offers or anything like that. I'm not sure how many offers he has, but I know he'll be getting
How
some
many
more looks.
did Savoy throw for?
Savoy ended up throwing for almost 500 yards. It was just short of 500. 491.
I'm sure that's a record somewhere.
Yeah. 491 with 4 touchdowns to go along with it. And through 2 picks, both of those picks were in the end zone. So it could have been a 6-touchdown game to go along with 500 yards.
And they could have had both of those touchdowns. They still been 20 points short.
Yeah, it still wouldn't have mattered.
Because Bastrop won the game 69-42.
Yeah, 69-42.
That was a lot of. I don't know
That's
that I ever done a game where a team scored. Where I don't think I've ever done a game where maybe someone has scored 100 points, but man, certainly not 111 points. You know what I mean?
And to be a playoff game at that. I haven't been to a playoff game where the total score is 100-something points between the two teams. No, I haven't been a part of that. I remember when Alito beat somebody like 80-something to 3 in the playoffs, and the school filed like a bullying lawsuit on them and all type of crazy
stuff. They beat Waco
stuff.
High 84-0.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But hey, shout out one of the greatest
but
ever,
again,
Jonathan
Savoy made a great showing. He's coming back.
Yes.
My man will be coming off of a injury.
Devontae Kirkland, yeah.
Kirkland be coming back off his senior year.
Mm-hmm.
They got those 2 guys coming back for their senior year, along with they got some running backs, some other wide receivers that we got a chance to look at. The university's in good shape. I expect those guys to have another a great season last year. They're going to miss London Smith for sure.
Absolutely.
But they do have the cupboard is far from empty over in South Waco.
Far from being empty. In the South Side, as you see on their jerseys, they wear each and every week. University's got a bright future. And once again, shout out to London Smith, man. You're going to go down in the history books at University and in Waco football. We'll look back in 10 years from now that he'll have that jersey in that case at WISD Stadium over there at the WISD Hall of Fame expo that they have out there. It'll be over there soon.
And that should be the second father and son duo in the it's
in
funny.
The WISD.
Yeah, because there's already one father, so they went in at the same time. But
yeah.
But this father and son duo will go in for sure. I'm pretty sure that. Shout out to London Smith and the Smiths.
Yeah, and the Smiths.
Rodney and Stacy are tremendous parents, and they have their son is a sensational athlete.
Absolutely. There's a couple of teams that are still playing football. As most of the teams in the Central Texas area actually got taken out within this last week. Still a couple of teams playing. One of them being that consistent team that we're used to watching every single year, and that's the La Vega Pirates. They took out Silsbee, another really great program, last week, 30-14 in a win. They'll play against a Lamarck team that was in a dogfight all the way to the end against a 4-win China Spring team.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing the way the La Vega handled China Spring and seeing the way that La Vega was able to handle Silsbee last week going into this Lamarck game, I think I'll have them as the favorite. In La Vega's win last week, Courtney Parr threw for 289 yards, 3 touchdowns in the game. Jabari Thornton, the senior, who's headed off to, I want to say North Texas, where he recommitted to now, going to the University of North Texas with Jabari Thornton. He had 157 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. Their defense played great once again. The young freshman who continues to impress me week in and week out, Edison King, guy that made a lot of noise for getting offered before he even played a snap of varsity football. He had 2 sacks in that game against Silsbee. We'll see how he does. What do you think about La Vega going into this third round? Do they have enough to be able to make it not only past Lamarck, but keep pushing to make another state title run like we got to
Man, I don't put nothing past La Vega, man. They are a really talented team. Their coach, Coach Hyde, is experienced. He's got a state championship, played for one last year.
Yeah.
This is basically the same team without Bryson Rowland. I think they've kind of adjusted to not having Bryson. It took them a minute, but they've kind of settled to fulfill his role by committee.
Yeah,
more so. And I'm just looking forward to them making a deep run. I hope that they're still in the playoffs when I get back from our vacation.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. I think there will be against this Lamarck team. They got a great chance. some really good games coming up this week here in Central Texas for high school football. Number 3, Bremont taking on Mart will be a huge game. Obviously, Bremont won against Mart earlier on in the season, but the Mart Panthers have really put together some great wins over the last few weeks. We'll see what they fare like against a powerhouse in Bremont, also out of the Central Texas area as well. Oglesby will be playing against Richland. That should be a really fun game as well. And La Vega playing against Lamarck. We already talked about that. Should be a great game to watch coming up. So some teams still in the Central Texas area still representing this area in the playoffs. Whitney will be in the playoffs again. Coming up, Aquila still in the playoffs. So we'll get a chance to root on and cheer on some of our Central Texas favorites for this upcoming weekend. I want to move to this weekend's games here in the college football side, and then I'll double back to the NFL slate of games coming up this weekend. This is a huge week in college football. Kind of rivalry week. It's always the good part of Thanksgiving. You get to see some really good rivalry games. We'll watch Georgia Tech versus Georgia this week. Mississippi versus Mississippi State will give us the first game on Friday morning. Obviously, probably the biggest game of this weekend, one of the biggest games of this weekend, A&M versus Texas. We'll see that on Friday night to close out that Friday slate of games. Really, really great games with a lot of implications based on them. So let's go through a few of these games for this coming up week. Mississippi versus Mississippi State. Ole Miss obviously favored in this game. Doesn't really mean much, but with their coach Lane Kiffin reportedly being on the outs, he hasn't said anything like that, but all the reports are he's going to Florida or going to LSU. Does this win mean anything if they win this against the Mississippi State team and close out with an 11-1 season on possibly keeping a Lane Kiffin, or do you think he's gone regardless of what they do in this and to end off this season?
Well, again, man, I think I go back to, I'm not a relationship expert, but I like to liken football to relationships a lot of times. I think once you start flirting with her and your main girl finds out, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time. I mean, I think you fractured your relationship with your existing girl to the point to where it diminishes the quality of your relationship to the point to where is it worth staying in? And I think that's where Lane Kiffin is. Yeah, I don't know where he'll end up. I just believe that he won't be at Ole Miss because him just entertaining Florida, LSU, ultimately diminishes the quality of the relationship at Ole Miss. And again, I'd much rather be in Baton Rouge than Oxford.
Come on, man. Than Oxford. You'd much rather be almost anywhere. You'd probably rather be in Waco, Texas than Oxford.
Not like I say, Stephen A. Smith's been wrong about a lot of things. But when he said that about Oxford, Mississippi,
yeah, he ain't lying. He ain't lying. Y'all drove through Oxford, Mississippi before too. You might not know you was there, but you drove through it, and it's called Oxford. That's why you drove through it. There was nothing there when you got there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's anyway. I just don't think it's. That's not It's not rocket science, bro.
No,
it's not. You're not. What I'm simply saying is this: is that if you going to Oxford, Mississippi, you're going there to play football. But if you could do that in Miami, Baton Rouge, somewhere else,
Gainesville,
and you can get equal money going somewhere else, you will. And this is a situation where Lane Kiffin, who's not a brother, even you don't consider LSU if you're not going. I just or Florida if you're not going. I just don't think you entertain it to this degree if you're actually staying in Oxford.
No, I think he's gone regardless. It's just crazy that it'll come with after his best season that he'll ever have at Ole Miss. They're gonna finish the season 11-1, easily be his best season. Going to get in the college football playoffs, which is going to make things even more interesting moving forward. Getting to some of these rivalry games, Georgia versus Georgia Tech. Georgia is a 13.5-point favorite. I think Georgia Tech came into this game with a lot of cachet maybe a couple of weeks ago, but with their last couple of losses that they got, they started out 9-0, or they started out 7-0, I believe. They lost to an NC State, a game that everyone thought they would win. Then they go out and play Pitt last week and lose that one too, lost a lot of their momentum. Do you think Georgia covers in this one, 13.5 points, playing against Tech on Friday afternoon, 2:30?
Yeah, I don't think it'd be much. It'd be a problem for Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech was exposed last week.
Yeah.
You know, they are. You know, Kings Hayne had a good run. He had a good run.
Yeah, he did. He did.
But it's over now.
This is the final nail in that coffin.
Yeah. And
this weekend.
And with everything, with potentially Georgia's playoff berth on the line, because I could see a world if they lose this and they lose the SEC championship, they could be left out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That'd be 3 losses.
You got to win this one if you're Georgia. So
especially with the way the game went last week.
This game literally secures their spot.
You win this year, no matter what.
Yes.
You can lose the SEC championship game, no matter what. I agree. That with all that on the line, I definitely expect them to win and to cover. With the way the game went last year, going to triple overtime just for them to pull out, I think they won't play around with that this year, and they'll go ahead and take those guys out to get ready for the SEC championship against A&M. Going right to A&M. Speaking about them, the Friday night game, biggest game that'll be going on in Texas. Texas A&M versus the Texas Longhorns at UT this time instead of College Station. I went down to College Station last year for when they played this game. This year at UT, with the way the Longhorns have played the last couple of weeks, some people say, oh, they're playing better. Archie's starting to look better in this game. A&M is only a 1.5-point favorite, even with them being undefeated on the season.
You take A&M and you party hardy. You hear me?
This was as I was building out my college football.
You go spend that money.
Yeah.
You don't even. Hey, look at here. And the crazy thing is, you can take that. Man, look at here, man. There's no reason that you take. Again, do I think it'll be competitive? Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Do I think it'll be one of those games that Texas may be in the game without actually being in the game?
Yeah.
Because I don't think Arch against that defense is any match. You know what I mean? I just don't. I'm looking at my line here as you. These kind of things I do. But yeah, I don't see. Again, and I'm no expert here, but so what do I have? Because I want to know if that one is
everywhere.
Is everywhere.
Yeah, it opened up on ESPN's books. It's 2.5.
It's a game tonight.
1.5.
It is a game tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a college football game.
Get my action off early.
Yeah, see, I'm saving mine. Whoever playing on Wednesday, I know I ain't seen them play all year. I ain't even gonna play with it.
Memphis and what's the name?
Yeah, I ain't even finna play.
So let me. Where is this?
It's the end of the Friday games, is where you'll see it at.
Okay, let me see.
At UT, playing at home. But yeah, I'm like you. I would take A&M in this one, no sweat. It'll probably be my first one on my parlay builder that I'm going to start with A&M 1.5. Yes, they're playing at DKR, at the 40 acres, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. A&M's better than Texas. It's just that simple for me. College Station and Austin ain't that far from each other. So, yes, it'll be an away game, but it ain't an away game like that. They'll be down the street
I got two on mine. Mm-hmm. I got two in the hook. So I'm gonna wait till mine updates and give me that one.
Yeah. Easily take that 1.5, and like you said, I'm losing no sleep about it. Even though I do think it'll be a competitive game. The game will be close. All this yada yada yada. Nah, I'm taking A&M, and I'm not thinking about it. That defense versus this offensive line of the Texas Longhorns, I think that's going to be the biggest thing. They won't be able to run the football like that, and how for A&M is probably going to get a couple of sacks off in this game, in my opinion. So I'll take the Aggies in this one. A couple more rivalry games that will be happening to start the Saturday morning. One of the biggest rivalries in college football. Ohio State Buckeyes taking on Michigan in a game at 11 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, last year, this is a game that made everybody question Ohio State. After this game last year, I said that their coach, Ryan Day, has to go out and win a national championship to save his job. Well, luckily for him, he goes out there and wins the national championship, gets the extension and all that. This is away from Michigan. This is their Super Bowl. This is Michigan's Super Bowl coming out here playing against an Ohio State team. They're probably not going to make the playoffs, even though they're a fringe playoff team. Probably not going to make the playoffs. But if you win this game, you almost get yourself a spot in the college football playoffs, and obviously you get a chance to say you beat Ohio State. Ohio State's favored by 9.5 points. I'm going to take Ohio State in this game. I'm not sure if I'll be picking the points just yet or if I'll take them on the money line, but I'll take Ohio State to win this game, even though they're playing at the Big House in Michigan. Who you like in Ohio State and Michigan on Saturday morning?
I mean, this is a game that you have to be cautiously optimistic about Ohio State being able to cover. This is a revenge game.
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
And so I think, Michigan, this is hard because Michigan is the home team. I think this is also a game where you got to look at the weather. You know what I mean? If the weather's favorable, if you're getting a 60-degree day, and you can get
kickoff time is set for 30 degrees.
Oh man,
it's Lake Michigan is what that's called right there.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey man, can Jeremiah Smith catching the cold, man? See, those are the kind of things that you got to account for, man. Like this being a rivalry game at home.
That's why I'm not taking the points, and probably I take Ohio State to win.
Just think if the guy throws a pick six, Sands throws a pick six, the game gets tight, everybody's stuck, and you know how it was amazing to me last year how tight Ohio State played last year. They played so
10-7 loss.
They played so tight. So anyway, against this one, I can't trust it because Michigan. Just think about it. Michigan is a better team than they were last year.
Yes, they are.
And Ohio State ain't quite as good.
They're a worse team than they were. The defense is probably better than it was last year, but the offense is significantly worse.
Yeah, so
in my opinion.
So let's just sit and watch and enjoy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do on this one. If I pick it, like I said, I take Ohio State money line, but I'm not even really going to play with a rivalry game like that coming up. Let's look at these slate of games on the NFL side for tomorrow. NFL's got a couple Thursday games. Obviously, the first one will always feature the Detroit Lions. And as I said before, waking up watching Detroit has always been a part of my Thanksgiving. This time, they're just actually good at football, unlike the majority of my lifetime where they were absolutely terrible and you didn't really want to watch. Green Bay versus Detroit, this will mean a lot for the division rankings, especially with Chicago having a chance to take out Philly on Sunday if they can win. That'll be big for them. Who you like in Detroit versus Green Bay right now? Detroit is favored by 3. They're playing at home in a game that honestly feels like both teams really need this one. I like Detroit in this game. They're playing at home. I'll give them the slight edge in this one. Coming off of a loss, I believe, last week. Or, no, they won last week. Coming off of a loss the week before that to the Eagles. I think they'll be trying to get back into the win column once again. I like Detroit. Who you like in this one with Detroit?
If it wasn't for, I'll be honest with you, with +3, if it wasn't for me not really knowing what Jordan Love's status is, injury status, I actually would take Green Bay +3. But with it being a situation where Detroit is -3, I don't know, because if Jordan Love is healthy, they could easily lose this game.
Yeah, in a dome, weather won't be affected. Everybody will get a chance to play their best football in that scenario. It's a toss-up game. It's -3 for a reason, because it's a toss-up game between these two. Jordan Love will be playing, but we know he'll be nicked up in this game. So it'll be a good one to start off the day. Your Cowboys playing at 3 o'clock against the Chiefs. Right now, Kansas City favored by 3 in this game. Cowboys obviously coming off a big win on Sunday. What do you see? How you see this game shaping up?
Man, I take Kansas City in this game. If I'm betting money, I'm taking Kansas City. Cowboys coming off a big victory, and this is a Kansas City must-have. Both teams have had a really up and down season, but I just think overall Kansas City's played better. They have better wins. The Cowboys are fighting uphill in a game like this, and if you take the Cowboys, the reason why you taking them is because you love them. It ain't because of anything you've seen on the field that make you feel like. Because again, I'm gonna be perfectly honest as a Cowboy fan. I wouldn't be surprised if they won by 10 or lost by 20.
Yeah,
they're just that schizophrenic as a team right now.
I agree. You have and it's both sides. Dak will come out and have a game like he had against Chicago or against some of these other teams. We're like, man, what is going on? And then he'll have a second half like he did last week against Philly where you're like, man, this is one of the best defenses in the league, and you're carving them up. Same thing with the defense. Defense is pretty inconsistent. I'm like you, though. I'm taking Kansas City in this game. For all you Cowboys fans, you might want to pick up on my cardinal rule. Do not bet on your team. You're never going to bet with your head. You're betting with emotion. Just don't do it. I stay away from the Texans, and every time I slip up and put the Texans on a parlay, they lose. So I know my limitations, and I know don't break the cardinal rule, and that's betting with your team in that one. But I will take Kansas City. I'm betting all 3 of these games tomorrow. I'm taking Kansas City on that one. The nightcap game, Cincinnati. It's been said that Joe Burrow is going to come back in this game. I'm not sure exactly why. Their season, I think, is pretty much over. They're 3-8. I guess they're not mathematically eliminated from the playoffs yet. So Joe Burrow is going to come back and try to play in this game. I think if they lose this, Joe Burrow should go right back to the bench and he shouldn't play for the rest of the season because there's going to be nothing to gain. I got Baltimore winning this game. I think Baltimore's in rhythm. They are playing for a playoff spot, and they're playing for a chance to actually win this division with the way Pittsburgh is playing. What do you see happening?
Hey man, I think I have mixed feelings about Joe Burrow playing. I think it's a lot of football left to throw in the towel. You know, you got 6 games left.
Yeah, plenty of football.
Football left. This is kind of too early to do it. And if you want to establish yourself as a leader, and you say, "Hey, I'm gonna go out with my guys. Whatever this season is what it is. But I want to go out with my guys." Then I think Joe Burrow is ultimately what he's doing is showing leadership, and if the team believes in him, and he's the de facto leader of this team, he's kind of obligated to lead them out if he can play, if he's healthy.
Yeah,
if he's healthy. Again, he's missed a lot of football over the past couple seasons.
That's what I was going to say. He's missed plenty of football. I don't think he's in any rush to try to go out and miss some more football as well. So I like the Ravens in this game. Couple of good ones coming up on the Sunday slate as well. First, we got a Friday game as well. Don't want to skip over that. Chicago Bears versus Philly. This is a huge game for the standings in the NFC, for Philly to keep that leg up above the rest of the guys in the NFC East, and for Chicago to keep the leg up that they have right now on a very, very competitive NFC North. Right now, Philly's favored in this game by 7 points. I think that's a lot going into a game where Bears are actually playing some pretty decent football. I know they haven't played the best opponents in the world. Nonetheless, they're still 8-3. How do you see this one shaping up on Friday? And do you think the Eagles cover that plus or that -7 on Friday against the Bears?
No, I don't. I think the Bears are a much better team than people give them the credit for. I think the Eagles tend to play close games.
All the games have been close.
Close games, and so I wouldn't unless you're counting on Caleb Williams to melt down or have a bad game. But I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah, I'm tempted to take that Chicago +7 for those reasons. Philly just doesn't. They haven't created a lot of separation in any of their games. Similar to Kansas City last year. I got a lot of wins last year betting plus against Kansas City, even if they won the game, because they just play a bunch of close games against everybody. A couple of Sunday games coming up. One of them, my Texans playing against the Indianapolis Colts. Texans have shown, I think, to have a top 3 defense in the league with the way their defense was able to play against Josh Allen last Thursday night. I think they definitely solidified that. Davis Mills has played okay. He's played well enough to win. The Indianapolis Colts have shown that they're beatable in the last couple of weeks. They've lost 2 out of their last 3 games, losing against the Steelers and then losing against the Kansas City Chiefs in that game. Indy's still favored in this game by 4.5 points. Who do you like? Because like I've told y'all my rule already, I'm not betting this. So who do you like in this one with Indy versus Houston?
I like Houston.
Yeah, Indy's a 4.5 point favorite too.
I like Houston. I would be even willing to take Houston on the outright win.
On the money line, yeah.
On an outright win, but I would definitely take them with the 4 points. I may even bet that one, gentlemen.
Yeah, well, it's still that 4.5 number because it I want to say it opened up higher than that, but it's already at 4.5 right now, so it could be shrinking a little bit lower. Since then, yeah, this Texas defense is playing great. I think we should let C.J. Stroud sit as long as he can until he's fully healthy, so we can try to go in and make a playoff run coming up. But that should be a really good game set up.
You don't think they're gonna play C.J. Stroud?
I don't know. He's questionable. I have no idea. I don't know if he'll play, if he will or not. I wouldn't be surprised if he played, and I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play in this game. Just with they're taking their time with it. Davis Mills is winning. Hey, let's try to see if he can go out here and win against. You get a division win against the Colts. That'll be huge too. As they get,
I think Houston has the kind of defense that can affect Daniel Jones.
Yes.
And so, with that being the case, because again, Daniel Jones is a guy that's going to be looking for Will Anderson. You know what I mean? And he's going to feel Will Anderson the entire game.
Yeah.
And when he feels the other team, he's just not as good a player.
And that's just facts. That's not saying anything, oh, we don't like this guy. No, that's just facts. And when he feels the pressure, a la Pittsburgh Steelers, a la the Kansas City Chiefs in the second half of that last game, he turns into a completely different player. Hopefully, Houston can get that same reaction out of him coming up. The Sheduer Bowl, as we'll be calling every game this Sunday, that Sheduer will be playing in. Playing against San Fran this weekend. Obviously, San Francisco is favored in this game, but Vegas is thinking like the same points, some of the same points we're thinking. They're only a 4.5-point favorite in this game, as opposed to a lot of the Browns games this season have been 7-point favorite or 7-point underdog, 8-point underdogs. Moving that needle to only 4.5 now. What do you think about Cleveland versus San Francisco on Sunday, playing at 12 o'clock in Cleveland?
I mean, if I'm gonna bet my money, I got to take Frisco in this game. You got a rookie quarterback on the second start. He didn't play extremely well the first game. Brock Purdy, you kind of count on him not to have two bad games in a row. He's going to be, that was just his second game back after coming back for injury. He should be more acclimated to the speed of the game, should be much better. That running game can kind of slow down the pass rush of Myles Garrett and such. But, I think Cleveland is a live opponent, but I would take San Francisco in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take San Francisco on the 4.5, but obviously everyone knows who we'll be rooting for in this game.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier in the show, y'all, I'm never looking at QBR again on ESPN's rankings. Doesn't make any sense. Sheduer throws for 200 yards, a touchdown and a pick, only gets sacked once. His QBR was 8. Brock Purdy throws 3 picks and a touchdown. His QBR is 50. I have no idea what QBR is anymore. I looked at every QBR at every quarterback in the NFL last week. None of it makes sense for why Sheduer would get an 8 rating.
I just think he threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage a lot. I mean he
8?
And he threw a pick. So I mean, again, and he had no, he didn't scramble for a first down or anything like that. So again, let's just let it settle in. I think QBR. I prefer QBR over quarterback rating. Because quarterback rating is just a matter of completion percentage and then giving you a bump for touchdowns. I like QBR because it grades every play.
Everything.
Every play. Your runs, it grades every play. Again, I think by and large, he was a little over 50% completions. And if you take 3 of his plays, that accounted for like 70% of his yards.
Yeah.
So that's where I think it'll count. Now that's the thing about QBR. It doesn't weigh one play over the other. And so in Sheduer's situation, those plays where he threw the ball down the field would have been weighted heavier in the QB rating system. Because you get those big plays are weighted heavily. More heavily than just the completion. But, hey, man, he'll get plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, he will.
Coming up.
No, this upcoming Sunday, he's going to get plenty of work for us. So we'll be tuning in for that game as well. Hey, folks, we're out of time. We want to thank everybody tuning in here this Thanksgiving Eve. Lots of great games coming up for this weekend. Get your parlays in now before all these lines get to moving. Go back, rewind this episode, and see some of the games that we picked if you need some help picking some of your games. Getting off here today, we're signing off. We got games coming up next week on Centex Sports. Had a great slate of games this week, some MCC basketball. Next week, they'll be back in action as well. I'll be doing a couple more games for Texan Live this weekend. I think I'll be doing Waxahachie and Cy Ranch.
Make sure you pay attention to that safety. I've read a lot about him.
Snell, yeah. I got a chance to watch him play against Midway, thinking he was going to disrupt the game, and figured out it's a few dudes on their team. I think their other safety is going to Texas. He's committed to Texas A&M. Their other safety, Brown, he's committed to University of Texas. So they got a few guys out there watching Waxahachie. It's going to be a fun one.
He look like a real man out there?
He looks like a grown man versus everybody. Like a true grown man. He's like 6'3", 215. You see that on the high school football field, regardless of the level you play at. You see him immediately out there on the field. So I'll be tuning in for that one as well. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great Thanksgiving. Give some turkey out to somebody. Don't do too much in your spiked eggnog so you can make it to Thanksgiving on Thursday morning tomorrow. We'll see everybody next week. Everyone have a great Thanksgiving.